let's jump into this main event for UFC 274. Charles Oliveira, the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, against Justin Gaethje.
Charles is coming in at minus 165.
Yeah, minus 165 to a plus 140 for Justin Gaethje. Tabor, what are your thoughts on this matchup, and who do you like and why?
I love this matchup. To be honest with you, I'm having a hard time with my pick here because both these men are fantastic. Before I even get into church coin picks or anything, like who I think is going to win the fight, let's just break it down a little bit because Charles Oliveira's jiu-jitsu is fantastic. We all know that. He's got the most submissions in the UFC, period. He's had knockout victories as of late. He looked fantastic in the second round versus Poirier. He was getting cracked by Poirier. Can his chin hold up to Justin Gaethje's power, though? We all know Justin Gaethje has that one touch of death. But it wasn't there in that Michael Chandler fight when Oliveira did knock out Chandler in the second round. Yeah. It's interesting. It's very interesting, this matchup. I do like Justin Gaethje a lot in this fight, but you cannot deny the absolute dominance that we have seen on display from Charles Oliveira. Yeah. Not only on the ground, but on the feet as well. Oliveira has developed so much. Like, where does this fight go is really the biggest question. If this goes down to the ground, obviously Oliveira is probably going to get the victory. Maybe by sub. I think sub would be a great prop pick for this fight for Charles. But then you can't ever count out Justin Gaethje and his power. Charles gets cracked in every single one of his fights.
I think it all comes down to, sorry to cut you off, Mason.
Oh, no worries.
If it goes out of the first round, I think you would edge the fight towards Charles because I think we've seen that his cardio is a little bit better than Gaethje's in the later rounds. If Gaethje paces himself, then I would say it's a pretty even fight. But I feel like Gaethje's going to go for it all out in the first round, blitz him, try to get the knockout, just get the belt as quick as possible.
Is it going to be a war? Do you think it could be a war?
Look, do we want a war?
Yes.
Yes. Are we going to get a war? I don't think so. I think it's either going to be a chess match, and whoever onto the ground, obviously we're going to edge it towards Charles. But like you said, we can't count out that Justin Gaethje power. It's undeniable.
Yeah, I think where I'm at on this fight, I think the way Justin, and I do agree with you overall, like I think if Justin is going to win this fight, he's got to catch Charles early with a massive shot that's going to put his lights out. However, I think if Charles can get this fight to the ground, I think he will definitely submit Justin Gaethje. Now, I'm not underestimating Justin Gaethje, okay? I obviously know the elite wrestler that he is. He's phenomenal on the ground, okay? But Charles is a different beast. I mean, he has fought the best of the best. At one point in Tony Ferguson's career, they wanted to do the Khabib versus Tony Ferguson because, the jiu-jitsu, the defensive jiu-jitsu against Khabib, the dominant wrestler. And what did Charles Oliveira do to Tony Ferguson? Absolutely dismantled him and crushed him for 5 rounds on the ground.
3.
Okay. Or 3 rounds on the ground. Yeah, you're right. That wasn't a 5 round. But nonetheless, absolutely dominated him for that 3-round fight. And then he takes on a guy like Michael Chandler, suffers through adversity, gets caught early, but then finishes the fight in the second round. You know, it's all these guys. And then Dustin Poirier as well. Submits Poirier, which is a phenomenal thing to do. Khabib Nurmagomedov did it as well. I mean, Charles is just legit through and through. Justin Gaethje, though, you cannot underestimate this man's heart and how many wars he's been through and his determination to keep moving forward despite everything else. And that's what's really interesting here. I think the way Charles wins this fight is submission. Mm-hmm. I don't see him finishing Justin Gaethje. He's just too tough. It's really hard to finish Justin Gaethje. I think the only guy to ever do that in the UFC was Eddie Alvarez.
And Poirier.
Right?
Poirier
as well. Yeah,
if I was a betting man, here's what I would do. Just to make it fun and interesting, because obviously if it goes to the ground, you're edging it towards Charles, Absolutely. And if it's KO, you go Gaethje, right. So here's what you do. You do Charles by KO, all right, and you do Gaethje by submission.
I think you're a bad bettor. I think that's a terrible option. I think you switch those two, and you're doing pretty good there. But no, dude, I agree with Ant W's take here. Charles needs one takedown with at least a minute to work to win this fight. And I think that's basically where it comes down to. I like the line here. I do think you got to give respect to the undisputed lightweight champion of the world, Charles Oliveira, at a minus 165 to a plus 140, Justin Gaethje. Here are my church coin bets for this. I like Charles Oliveira here. I think he's going to get the job done. I think he's going to retain the belt. And, I love Justin Gaethje. If Gaethje wins the belt, I'll be super happy for him. And, of course, he's on the same card as his his teammate and friend Rose Namajunas fighting in the co-main event. It would be really cool to see another Whitman parlay.
And they win every time.
They
yeah,
do.
we get
They
the
win
Whitman
together.
parlay going. It happens.
It sucks because you just don't want to see Charles lose because he's just a good guy.
know.
But
And
you
then-
want the Whitman crew to win.
Yeah, and if Charles loses, that destroys the Islam Makhachev Charles Oliveira fight, which is essentially
I know.
Tony Habib versus
2.0.
Light. Yeah, it's like Tony Habib Light. I hate to say that because it's not Light. That's disrespectful, but you know what I mean. Like it's the same matchup. So I don't know, man. This is a tough fucking fight for me to pick. I like Ant W's take right here. Charles has a nice chin, but he's gotten cracked bad in his last 2 fights. It might just catch up with him this weekend. If there's someone you don't want to get cracked by, it's one Dustin Poirier. He did survive that, so that's always on his side. He
And
did get
Chandler,
cracked multiple
too.
times. And Chandler as well.
Chandler's
He
got
got
a
cracked too. He's got a
fuck ton of
lot of
power.
power. He's got one punch knockout of death. But
The energy he generates in those punches is wild.
But
He
does
puts
either of those
everything
men
behind
have
him.
the power that Justin Gaethje does? Because remember, before Justin Gaethje ran into Habib Nurmagomedov, he was one touch of deathing dudes in the first round.
You don't think
And it's-
Chandler has more power than Gaethje?
I think Gaethje.
No, see, I
don't know. It's
disagree
maybe
with that.
the accuracy.
I think Chandler's got more power, but here's the thing about Justin Gaethje is it's not just he does have good power, but it's the combinations, it's the brutality of him,
Relentlessness.
marching forward and constantly landing those shots where it just wears someone down, and that's the Justin Gaethje that's so dangerous because Gaethje can put you out. He typically doesn't put someone out in one shot. It's that mixture of working them for
Think
minutes
about it, though.
after minutes.
He did that in those few fights leading up to the Habib Nurmagomedov fight. You cannot forget the Edson Barboza one touch fucking of death. That war it was for that lasted like 30 seconds or whatever. And then the Cowboy fight.
But that's
it's Cowboy though. But
right, but that's what I'm saying though is he can put you out with one shot, but it's not just one shot to start the first round.
Yeah.
It's that wear and tear on your body for 10, 15 minutes of just peppering you with medium to heavy shots. But it's just like, for me, I got to go Charles Oliveira here. I think he's going to retain his belt. I'm putting 2,500 in one church coin because that's all that I had. I'm going to put 2,500 in one church coin on Charles Oliveira. And then my prop for this is a 200 church coin bet on a Charles Oliveira submission. I think that's the way he gets it done. So that's my bet for the church coins.
Mason, you're sitting in about a 4,000 church coin lead right now. And I still have to pay back 5,000.
Yeah, so really about a 9,000 church coin lead.
Like I need something big.
Yep.
As much as I want to take Charles, as much as I think he's going to win this fight, I'm going to put money on Justin Gaethje. I just like the line too much. He's a plus 140. I'm going to throw 500 church coin on Justin Gaethje, and my prop bet is going to be Justin Gaethje by KO. I think he could do it. We know Charles gets cracked. Can he handle the power and the accuracy of Justin Gaethje? This Justin Gaethje 2.0, we all know he used to just go get in the wars, but ever since he's been 2.0, Trevor Whitman just added a few little nuggets to his game, and it's just evolved so much. I think Justin Gaethje can do it. I'm betting on that. I'm going to do 500 on Gaethje and 250 on the KO for Gaethje. I just can't wait for this fight, dude. It's going to be an absolutely fantastic main event. I love me some lightweight championships.
Absolutely. It's going to be a great time.